for a true display of skill.
There is no antidote for me.
The heart is the strongest muscle.
Trust nothing but your strength.
Neither the flames nor the depths could claim me.
Behold the might of the Shadow Isles.
Justice takes me.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
They will regret opposing me.
Behold the might of the Shadow Isles.
Justice takes me.
Time for a true display of skill. fitting actor.
The heart is the strongest muscle.
There is no antidote for me. Violence solves everything. Tactical decision, Summoner.
Dead man walking.
Feel a spark of emotion at every inch of you. Feel warm inside. Feel our big, beautiful smile. Feel Blade.
SC Johnson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to present another episode. In this episode, we'll be covering the much requested sisters, Katarina and kass. General Decoteau had always served Noxus with his life, and there was nothing he valued more than his homeland. Since his earliest days, he'd presented courage and skill that earned him the respect of many, and allowed him to quickly advance in the ranks of the military. His experience, achievements, and birth had finally earned him the rank of general in the Noxian military, as well as a seat in the high command. Only then, satisfied with his position and achievements, his firstborn daughter, Katarina, was not what he'd anticipated. As a soldier, he was hoping for a son that could follow in his footsteps and become another general in his family line. It was not attractive.
Justice.
Achieved just as much as men in Noxus, assuming they were cunning enough. The city-state is a cult of personality and strength, and not gender. To his surprise, Katarina did not seem all too interested in the art of politics. She would rather spend her time playing with her father's knives. The girl had been trained by the Noxus' most skilled assassin since her earliest years to develop her natural potential. When other girls had been seduction, Katarina had been crossing blades with her father so he could point out her mistakes. When others had been taught about pretty dresses and how one should wear, Katarina was doing just fine in her.
In carnage, I bloom like a flower in the dawn.
Tight leather armor. It worked much better when it came to dodging arrows shot her way. While still a teenager, Katarina demanded her first mission from the High Command to prove her skill and dedication to Noxus. Following her father's recommendations, she was sent to assassinate a Demacian officer, head of a military camp set up in a forest. The task was relatively easy, and the environment was certainly on the assassin's side. She was, however, too eager to sanctify her task.
There is
She did
no...
not think clearly. She infiltrated the camp with no problem, avoiding any guards like a shadow. Katarina had reached the heart of the camp without being noticed, but she got too eager to prove herself. A quick observation allowed her to notice that one of the Demacian generals had been visiting the camp, and he certainly did not expect an assassination attempt. She snuck into his tent and slit his throat open, leaving the camp immediately after, forgetting about her original target. She'd been proud of herself, and couldn't wait to deliver the news to the High Command. Before she could reach Noxus, she'd heard the news. While she'd already left the camp, the body of the general had been found, and her original target, a simple officer, had decided to take revenge by setting up an ambush for troops of Noxus. Many soldiers died that night because of Katarina's failure. She knew that no one would be pleased with her achievement. She had to come back to the camp and finish the job. It was obvious that security would be at least doubled after her first assassination, but she did not care. Katarina had no intention to be subtle this time around. Her goal was to dispatch the officer at whatever cost. She drew her blades and walked into the camp, slaying anyone on her way. None of the soldiers had been trained half as good as she was, and after a short battle, she finally shoved a knife between the officer's ribs. It cost her a few wounds and a scar on her face, but her assignment had been done. Since then, Katarina had certainly matured and honed her skills as well as her deadly instincts even further. She remembers her mistake from her early days, and she's sworn not to repeat it over again. She's learned to love the bloodshed that always surrounded her. She's changed a lot. She was almost like the Noxus itself. Brutal, deadly, unforgiving, and yet beautiful. She's earned a title of the Sinister Blade for herself, but despite what it might suggest, she's much more than an assassin. She's a skilled speaker and leader, with a really high opinion about her homeland. She is known for speeches that she's given on many occasions, including conflict between Noxus and Ionia, and the creation of Freljord as a unified nation. She always speaks highly about her home and its citizens. They are always honourable, patient, their intentions are never bad or ruthless. She's been brought up by loyalists, and she would never betray the city-state or its leaders. She does not trust Jericho Swain, the new Grand General, but she trusts that he knows what's best for her home. Cassiopeia is her youngest sister, and her personality has always been drastically different. She's always lacked the talent for fight. She did not seem attracted to the art of sword fighting, and she considered murder rather drastic. Instead, she preferred her own ways, the ways of seduction and persuasion. She's received a training fitting of a Lady of Noxus, teaching her many tricks that she could use to manipulate men more easily. She was always elegant, well-mannered girl that made friends very easily. Adding to her natural grace training she had received had turned her into a dangerous seductress, one that could force a man to change his mind in a matter of minutes. And yet, she always looked so innocent. No one would suspect such a fragile girl to be a cunning beast that she really was. Her father quickly learned about the talents of his youngest daughter and put them to good use by sending her to work for the High Command, just like Katarina. While the eldest child was an assassin, Cassiopeia's task was to gather information that might come in handy one day. Since that day, she could be seen around foreign dignitaries constantly, flirting with them until they would open up in front of her. Week after week, she'd been constantly delivering lengthy reports to the High Command, filled with intelligence about plans that other city-states had. If there was a man who knew something, Cassiopeia would probably get it out of him. That was until she met a diplomat from the newly unified Freljord. He was savage, a barbarian. She thought of him as an easy target, and she wouldn't be too far from the truth, until the key moment. When she'd asked him to reveal his plans, he refused. Time after time he's refused to give in to Cassiopeia's temptations. Finally he agreed to share his plans, if Cassiopeia would swear upon his blade that she would not share that secret with anyone. She had taken his sword, shaped after a snake of some sort, and swore that she would not tell anyone what she'd heard. When hours later she had been repeating the barbarian's words to her father, her skin started to tickle, and soon after her body had been shaken by revulsions, Cassiopeia started screaming as her skin had been breaking and hardening to scales, her hair turning into a cobra-like crown and her fingers turning into deadly claws. Shocked and confused, she had attacked servants that witnessed her transformation, which was still happening. A few minutes later, she'd been standing in the middle of a bloodied room, stuck somewhere between being a woman and a deadly serpent, with her claws dripping blood onto the floor. She was a jewel of the court no more. She was a beast, a horror that had to be hidden from sight, and yet she retained some of her beauty in a far more deadly, sinister form. For the first years after her transformation, she'd been held in safety in her own mansion, and only her closest family could see her real form. For everyone else, she was just a shade of a woman, covered in many shrouds. Her life had been trapped inside her own room now. She was afraid of other people looking at her, watching her disfigured form. And yet she was finally managed to accept who she was. When her father had disappeared, she had to react. He knew it was going to happen and prepared her for that, but it was still not enough. Her father went missing with no trace of him on the letter that he left, bearing a simple black rose above him. Powerless and angry about the fate of her father, Cassiopeia had murdered a guard that delivered the grim news and left her room for the first time. She wanted revenge, and she knew where to look for it. There was only one place with enough power and influence to give her what she needed: the League of Legends. She's made her way into the Institute of War and demanded to be part of the League. She believes it will allow her to find her father. And that's all we prepared for you this time around. We hope you've enjoyed what we prepared for you this time, and you can express that in the comment section below this video. You can also click the like button, it helps us out a lot, and add this video to your favourites if you enjoyed it in particular. There is also the Facebook page, which you can go and like, and over 30 previous episodes with more videos to watch. And as always, I'll see you next time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, it is Targran bringing you yet another episode of Lord League of Legends. This particular episode
Secrets are sharper. If you don't control things, you are. Think what I could offer. Begin the whisper.
First blood. Enemy double kill.
Your enemies close and me closer. I know what
An enemy has been slain.
Do you have a longing? Or would you like one? Every problem is an opportunity. Patience, darling. Watch your step. Many wars begin with a whisper. Secrets are sharper than blades.
An enemy has been slain.
But I'm If you don't control pawns, you are. Do you have a longing? Or would you like one? Violence is so messy.
An ally has been slain.
Shut down.
Careful now.
An ally has been slain.
Watch your step.
Shut down.
One touch is all it takes. Spineless? No. Flexible. Extremely. Like what you see?
An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
I'll take care of everything.
An ally has been slain.
Wealth is valuable only as a means to power. Power requires precision. Patience, darling. I'll be back soon. Miss me.
Killing spree.
Every problem is an opportunity. I like to leave a lasting impression. I'm not so pleasant. Such unrefined creatures.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret. Rampage.
I'll take care of everything. Don't be coy. Come, look me in the eye. Violence is so power requires precision. If you don't do so, well
An enemy has been slain. Unstoppable. Double kill.
I know what everyone wants. Watch your step. Keep your enemies close and me closer. Do you have a longing? Would you like one? Do not resist the viper. Like what you see? Think what I could offer. Reveal what is hidden.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Spineless? No. Flexible. Extremely.
has destroyed a turret.
Power requires precision. My attentions are needed elsewhere. Think what I could offer. Keep your enemies close, and me closer.
Enemy double kill. Your turret has been destroyed.
Like what you see? Would you like one?
Art shall blossom from your fire.
Every problem is an opportunity.
Shut down.
If you don't control pawns, you are one.
An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
Wealth is valuable only as a means to power.
has been slain.
Watch your step.
Shut down.
Violence is so messy. I may leave, but I never go.
Killing spree. Shut down.
I'm hurt. Patience, darling. Many more begin to Spineless? No. Flexible.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Ally has been slain.
I'll take care of this. I'll be back soon. Miss me. Keep your enemies close.
Shut down.
what you see? Not so easy to get out of your system. Every problem do you have a warning? Or would you like one? Patience dies. Destroy them from the inside out.
Is magic. Another blue ribbon
Well
for
done.
Hector.
Next power. Do not turn your back on me.
An ally has been slain.
Watch your step. Do not tempt me.
Shut down.
Requires precision. I like to leave